Hello, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. I'm going to apologise at the beginning if you hear what sounds like rumbles of thunder and heavy rain. That's because we've got a thunderstorm going on. So I'm hopeful that power will continue and that it won't be too intrusive. Anyway, after which, I'm going to be using the Nothing's Better Than stamp set and dies, so bundle. I am beginning to get slightly obsessed with these at the moment. I've got all sorts of ideas floating around in my head for using them, so keep your eyes peeled. Anyhow, so the card that I'm making today is this one. So just the cocktail, a sentiment, and all that good stuff. So let me show you exactly how I've made it. I'm going to start by stamping the sentiment and the cocktail. I have done a little bit of, and here's one I made earlier along the way, just to help speed things up a bit. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp with Memento ink and stamp that down. It's becoming a bit of a thing for me. Please hold your stamp to the paper for a reasonable amount of time so that the ink has got a chance to transfer across. It is kind of, you know, one of those things that every now and again is worth reminding people. I'm using Daffodil Delight, Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie for the cocktail and the bits around the cocktail. So let me just open these up. Let me just pop that out of the way. So Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, Mango Melody. Oh, and now we've got a plane going over. Marvellous. I've mounted the filler for the cocktail, which has already got ice cubes and stuff in it. I'm going to ink up the very top with Daffodil Delight. Then I'm going to add some Mango Melody, and I'm not too worried if I get a bit of Daffodil Delight in the Mango Melody. It's different the other way around. And then Pumpkin Pie down at the bottom. That way you get a sort of tequila sunrise. And frankly, I could do with weather that made a tequila sunrise the right idea. You wouldn't think it was still August, but it is. But hey, at the point where I'm filming this, we're coming up to an August bank holiday weekend in the UK. It's bound to be wet. Right, so I've got the infill for the lemon slice, which is part of the cocktail, just mounted up, and I'm doing that with Daffodil Delight. Just like that. These are not meant to fit perfectly. It is that sort of 1950s slightly kitsch look that we're going for. And bearing in mind this is Connie Stewart's $1 Million stamp set. If you know Connie Stewart, this is so Connie. It's, I mean, she has that whole 50s retro feel on her website. It's brilliant. Right, so there is our cocktail. I have already die cut one, so that saves some time. I do still need to do the sentiment, and that I'm going to ink up. Actually, I'm going to go that way round. There is no logic to which I do with the ink pad one way up versus the other. It's just, you know, how the mood takes me. So I'm going to stamp this right on the edge here because I want this to only have a narrow margin, and I mean I can trim it if I need to, but that's good, that's what I want. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my little trimmer because I can, and I'm just going to chop that off. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way round because I find it easier to line up this bit rather than the other way round. There we are. And I've said this before, This has got a really strong spring. It's not going to just flop down on my fingers. You do actually need to push it. So it's not a problem. It's not a health hazard, I think is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I need to make sure that is dry, because Memento can take a wee while to dry, and then I'm just going to chop there, and then I'm going to chop, oops, just underneath the because, but only as far as the eye of is, and then again this way I'm doing lilting, I guess, and I want it to be just before the full stop of hard, and then just come up there and up there. So that is our sentiment all cut. So not quite fussy cutting, just a bit of manual cutting. Okay, I already have a black stitched oval from the Stitched Shapes, so that's going to be for my cocktail. So let's get that all added on. Then I can do some inking, as in sponging, and put the whole card together. So I'm just putting a sort of light coating of glue on the back of my cocktail, and then I'm going to just pop that down. I want it a little bit more central than that. That's about where I want it. And then for this, I'm actually going to put the adhesive on my rectangle, because then I can draw something approaching a line, an almost straight line across, and that's going to be more than enough to stick this down. But it's just easier for me. I found it easier to do it this way round, rather than trying to put the glue on the sentiment. And so that's that. Now there is a finishing touch which we will be adding, just not yet. I have got a mask here that I've cut using the largest of the layering ovals, and it's the largest of the straight cut. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White that I'm going to try and line up centrally. Bear with me one moment. And I'm going to do that from the back. It's not vital that it's central, because we will be trimming this piece of card down, but it's kind of nice to start with it central. All I'm doing is I'm holding it up to the light so I can see through. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you that. Ooh, possibly. Can you see that? You can see my hand through. So that's all I'm doing, is just lining it up by eye from behind. And because the Whisper White is reasonably see-through, it's quite easy to do that. I'm going to find now that this is the wrong way up. Actually, it doesn't matter. Right, so this is the top. No, it's the right way up. Yes! This is the top. So I'm going to be putting Daffodil Delight, Mango Melody, and Pineapple Punch. Not Pineapple Punch. That's gone. Pumpkin Pie ink down. Now, I've already got some glycerin. Just ordinary. You can get it in the supermarket. It's just used for cooking, probably in the baking section. I've got some on my sponge dauber, and I've got some ink. So I always start by seeing if I need to add any more, because if I don't, then there's no point in adding it. So I've actually got quite a lot of ink already on my sponge dauber. This is my Daffodil Delight one. The glycerin just helps stop any harsh lines, so you don't get that when you go straight down. You don't get an obvious blob, because we don't want an obvious blob. Pumpkin Pie, and then I'm going to come into the middle with the Mango Melody just to blend it all out. Now pumpkin pie I do want a little bit more, so I've got some in the lid, so let's pick up a bit more, close that down, and then I can add that again. And you can probably see, now there is a lump somewhere, I think it's probably on, yeah, it's behind. So that is being picked up, but it's going to be covered. So I'm fine, it's fine. So just layer up your ink. And then I'm coming with the Mango Melody. And again, I'm going to need some more of that. So get some more in the lid. And just add that on and blend it across. And I do really want that blended a wee bit better. What I'll do is I'll come in with a light touch of pumpkin pie, which will help blend that in a wee bit better. That's better. And then a wee bit more up here with the Daffodil Delight. And we're done. So it's mirroring, if mirroring is a word, the inking in the cocktail. So let's peel that off the back. Take these bits off. And by sticking it on the back, it means that if you tear your card, it doesn't matter. And that's actually the main plus. You'd think I could do a sentence, wouldn't you? Right, okay, so as I say, I'm going to trim this down. Now, I want to take about 1/4 of an inch off, top and sides, or top all round. So I want this actually to be further up, so I'm going to take my 1/4 inch off for the top, and then I'm going to take 1/8 off each side. The measurements will be over on my website, and you can find that just by going into the description bar, and you'll find a link from to my website in the description bar, and it's for this post. So that's 1/4 of an inch off there, and then I'm going to measure this side for the 1/8 of an inch. So that's 1 and the other, and that then means that I've effectively shifted the oval up the page, which is what I want. If you are going to end up with something not central, and personally I'm really into not central, because then if it's not central it doesn't matter, then you want your wider bit at the bottom. It's just what your brain prefers. Now you may have noticed that I've got gold thread here. We don't have gold thread anymore, but what we've got in the Forever Greenery trim combo is this gold, I don't know what it is, twine, anyway, whatever it's called. And you can, if you don't get it in a knot, which is what I had done, you can separate the threads out, or not. Let's do them one at a time, shall we? 1, 2, 3 is what I want. So yes, just break down what you've got. Right, so this is going to go into the middle here. I'm going to pop some stamping seal down. Put a couple of strips down. I want to be aware that things are going to go here rather than here. And then all I'm going to do is find the ends of all of the pieces. Sorry about that, the battery died. So all I've done is spread my thread around, and I'm concentrating on the top and to the left. This is actually not going to really show that much. In fact, I can probably pull it up even more. In fact, that loop can be used somewhere more sensible. So yeah, I'm concentrating everything towards the top and left, because we're going to cover up a lot of this area with our cocktail. 4 dimensionals. I'm using the black dimensionals. So 4 dimensionals on the back of that. And then I'm going to pop this so that it is towards the bottom right-hand corner. I know an oval doesn't have a corner, but you know what I mean. So there we go. So you've got this fuzz coming out where it's mostly exposed. That's not English. I don't know what my brain's up to. Anyway, let's carry on. So I've got a Whisper White base. I happen to have cut it long and thin. You can cut it short and fat, but it is just half a sheet. International A4 is what I use because I'm in the UK, not in North America. The measurements for North American cardstock will be over on my website. So do click on the link in the description bar which says associated blog post, and you will find that. I normally have them the dimensions right at the bottom of my post, so they're always in the same place. I was going to say something else. Oh yes, do remember that if you don't already subscribe, it is always appreciated if you do. If you enjoy what you're seeing, it does help promote my YouTube channel, which means more people get to see me going completely nutty. Ooh, that's not straight. As in, this isn't straight. I'm going to cut a new mat because that is not straight. Bear with me one moment. So, right. Fortunately, I have another piece of black cardstock out. So I need this to be 5.5 by 3 3/4. So 5.5 by 3 3/4. And hopefully that will actually fit. Yes, it will. So let me just add a bit more adhesive onto this. I will leave the adhesive on my other piece to dry, and then I can use it for something else once I have straightened out the edges. But they were anything but straight. This isn't exactly straight either. It may be that the pumpkin pie is crooked, of course. In fact, I think that is the issue. Oh well, these things happen. So let me just add some seal to stick this down. The reason I'm using seal rather than liquid adhesive is because on the Whisper White you can find that the liquid adhesive shows through. Yeah, you see, I think it's the pumpkin pie that's crooked. Oh well. Right, so there is a finishing touch. And the finishing touch is, surprise, surprise, I'm using the Elegant Faceted Gems again. I love them. So on the original, I used one of the white ones. I'm tempted to try one of the clear and see what difference that makes. It may not make much of a difference at all because we're going onto a white surface. So there we go, a straight one and a crooked one. So yes, this was with a white crystal, and this is with a clear crystal. There's not much of a difference, but yeah, there you go. So if you've enjoyed that, please give it a thumbs up. Do forgive the crooked mat. Hey. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below and I will get back to you. Do hop over to my website if you're in the UK and would like any of these products, or indeed any Stampin' Up products. I would be honoured if you would shop with me. You can do that either by the links below or over on my website. Thank you very much indeed, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!